Today's story is the sequel to The Storm Whale. So if you haven't listened to that, go ahead and go back until you get to it and watch The Storm Whale. The Storm Whale in Winter, written and illustrated by Benji Davies. The Storm Whale in Winter. Here we have Noi drawing a picture of his friend and one of his kittens there. Noi lived with his dad and 6 cats by the sea. Last summer, Noi rescued a little whale after a storm washed it ashore. He and his dad took it back to the sea where it belonged. But Noi could not forget his friend. Now and then he thought he caught a glimpse of the whale, its tail tipping the waves in the distance. But it was always something else. Winter was setting in, and all around the island the sea slowly filled with ice. Noi's dad took one last trip in his fishing boat. But when darkness fell that evening, his dad was still not home, and Noi began to worry. Noi watched and waited and watched. Suddenly, he saw something out at sea. It was his dad. It had to be. He counted all 6 cats safe inside and dashed down to the shore. Noi dragged his boat to the water's edge, but the sea was frozen hard. I must be careful, he thought, stepping out onto the thick ice. I'm going to pause here for a second. Is Noi making good choices? No. Number 1, he shouldn't have left the house. Number 2, this is ice. What could happen to him? The ice could crack and he could fall through and his dad would never know. Noi, this is not safe. The farther Noi went, the harder the snow fell, until everywhere looked the same. Noi was lost. Then up ahead he saw a gray shape flickering in the lamplight. Make a prediction. What do you think is going to happen? What could that gray shape be? Did you think it was the whale? It was his dad's boat stuck in the ice. Noi quickly clambered aboard. Dad? Noi called, but his voice echoed. The boat was empty. Noi didn't know what to do. As he curled up tight, he imagined the deep sea swirling beneath him, and he began to feel afraid. I would too. Then, through the darkness, the boat went bump. Who is it? It was the storm whale. The whole family had come to help Noi. The whales pushed their noses into the cold night air. They sang through puffs of steam and spray as the ice cracked and crunched. Somehow, they knew where to go. Where do you think they're taking him? It doesn't look like they're heading home. It looks like they're heading to the lighthouse. Who's at the lighthouse? Noi's dad. The little boat thumped hard against the rocks. Dad! Cried Noi. Noi, what are you doing here? Said his dad. I just had to find you, said Noi. Again, gonna pause for a second. This could have gone very differently. He should not have gone out of the house. He should not have walked on that ice. As winter turned slowly to spring, they often spoke of that cold, icy night. The night the fisherman had rescued Dad and the storm whale had rescued Noi. And Noi would smile. Yes, it was the night his friend came back. They've named their boat the Storm Whale. All right, so the redeeming quality of this is that the Storm Whale remembers Noi and is a good friend, and the whole family of whales helps him. But I can't say that I like this one quite as much as the first one because, again, there's just too many choices that Noi makes and he doesn't get any consequences. The least we could have had in here is Noi's dad saying, Noi, that was unsafe, but there's no mention of it being dangerous. So just make sure if you live somewhere where there's water and it freezes, do not walk on it. The Storm Whale in winter.